Welcome back with some more Final Fantasy XIV. We're going to do some side quests. Here at Melvan's Gate, we inspect all the goods that are imported into Limsa Lominsa and collect duty as the law requires. Some merchants, however, seek to evade this obligation, and we must chase them down. I would be grateful if you could deliver these two ledgers, one to a man named Sundimal, whom you will find at the Octant, and the other to a woman named Letitia, who works at the Bismarck. If you are uncertain as to the whereabouts of the Bismarck, ask Sundimal when you meet him, and he will point you in the right direction. All that would pass into Limsa Lominsa must first pass through Melvan's Gate. We levy excises and disallow contraband for the welfare of the market. Trade can only be free when buyers possess the necessary assurances. Without the rule of law, the streets would be overrun by traffickers and cutthroats. A ledger from Melvan's Gate, you say? This booklet, penned by a lock assessor from Melvan's Gate, contains the names of merchants who have yet to pay duty on the goods they imported into Limsa Lominsa. Yet more outstanding duty payments. When will those merchants ever learn? Very well, if I get sight of any offenders, I shall drag them to the gate, kicking and screaming if needs be. One more ledger bound for the Bismarck, you say? Follow this path to the upper decks and you'll find the place. There. Tax evaders among our patrons, you say? Goodness me! I dare say this may well put an end to their appetite, but this is in the best interest of the city-state. If any of the merchants named in this ledger come to dine with us, I shall see that Melvan's Gate is notified without delay. We spare no effort to ensure that all our patrons enjoy the finest food and hospitality, and so it is doubly hurtful when someone decides to leave without settling the bill. Nary a bell ago, a first-time patron did just that. Roshushmo is the one who lovingly prepared the man's meal. She is quite upset by the whole affair, and has taken it upon herself to draw an illustration of the offender. Might I trouble you to deliver it to the yellow jackets on our behalf? Roshushmo should just be adding the finishing touches by now. The Bismarck prides itself on purveying the finest cuisine in all the realm, fit to grace the tables of kings and queens. Indeed, whenever foreign dignitaries come to Limsa Lominsa, our restaurant is the first to be called upon to cater for the banquet. I poured my heart and soul into that grilled dodo. If I ever get my hands on that scoundrel, I'll grind his bones in to make my bread. Here it is, my rendition of the criminal. Please deliver it to Godebert at the Coral Tower. He will know what to do. There's a whale of a tale behind the name of this place. Well, it's a tale of a whale, actually. Bismarck devoured all that lay in his path, and the restaurant hopes its diners will follow suit. A bilker at the Bismarck, and you have an artist rendition of the man? A drawing of a man? Pieced together from descriptions given by eyewitnesses to his crimes most heinous. What in the seven hells is this supposed to be? It looks more like the prow of a ship than the man's face. Look, we would like nothing more than to bring the offender to justice. 'Tis our duty after all. However, we will need a bit more to go on than this piece of art. It would be easiest for all involved if Roshushmo were to come here and answer some questions. Please relay to her as much. The Yellow Jackets used to be part of the Knights of the Barracuda, but we were swallowed into the maelstrom during the calamity. Our voyage through the maelstrom has hardened both our steel and our resolve. An alarming number of citizens have gone missing of late, though I suspect you've already heard the rumors. It is essential that we ascertain their safety. To this end, I have prepared a list based on reports from our citizens. Would you be so kind as to deliver it to my colleague in Bulwark Hall? Nidelica is her name. My thanks in advance, friend. This is the hive of the Yellow Jackets, keepers of peace in Limsa Lominsa. We defend the common folk, and they serve as our eyes and ears in turn. Order is preserved under the mandate of the people. You want for coin, venturer? How'd you fancy working for the Kraken's Arms, one of the greatest pirating crews in Limsa? If you're interested, take yourself up these steps to the balcony cove, and talk to Carvellen, our captain. Do right by him, and he'll do right by you. The Kraken's arms reach far and wide, carrying back spices to sell at the Seventh Sage. Captain Carvellen watches over the business himself, when he's not busy watching over his crew. Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Seventh Sage, purveyors of the finest spice from the East. All of our products are guaranteed obtained through completely legal means. Oh, you seek not spices, but employment? Well then, let us speak of how you might be of service to our organization. Our missouri returned from our latest voyage bearing exotic spices never before seen in Eorzea. I have prepared 2 samples, each of which I would have you deliver to certain individuals. The first is for Grenade, whom you will find at the Coral Tower. The second is for Master Linscott, the head chef of the Bismarck, and do make certain the right person gets the right set. Now, go now, and return to here once you have accomplished the task. Limsa Lominsa is a place where a man's work and wits determine his worth, where an orphan can pull himself up by his bootstraps to one day lead the Kraken's arms. If my family hadn't been murdered at sea, I'd have no doubt followed my fortune-telling father into a life of divination. Fate is a funny thing. The worst thing to ever happen to me was also the best. He isn't of the astrologian class. That would have been neat. Welcome to the headquarters of the Yellow Jackets, the keepers of the peace in Limsa Lominsa. Is there aught I can assist you with? A set containing several exotic spices and instructions on how they can be used. Not something you would expect from the captain of a band of bloodthirsty pirates. A sample of spice, courtesy from the Seventh Sage, you say? There is no mistake. This is fire sand, and the kind used by the Garleans besides. Quite intriguing. Very well, we will consider placing an order. Oh, you thought you had brought me spice. I see you're not familiar with Carvellianisms. For the sake of convenience, he uses the word spice to refer to literally anything he has procured on the high seas. Lest you worry, the man isn't engaged in any activity that is considered piracy, far from it. Think of him as a trader, a heavily armed one, who represents Lominsan interests in eastern lands. Ah, so you've spoken with Godebert. Wahahaha! Within the bell, the Yellow Jackets will have that swindling scoundrel locked in a dungeon cell, and then I'll take my filleting knife and... Huh? Godebert wants me to go to the Coral Tower for questioning? But what more information does he want that my drawing doesn't already provide? Is it a picture supposed to paint 1,000 words? A new sample from the Seventh Sage. Alright, let's have a whiff of it then. Ain't smelled nothing like it before. The note as came with it says it's from a root what grows on Authart. Last I heard, Authart was under Imperial rule. How the 7 hells did Carvellen manage to get all of this? Any road, I reckon I can cook up something fresh and new with it. Thanks for the delivery, friend. The accents they use always throws me a bit off. No, that's a recruiting quest. Beg your pardons, good madam, but you are an adventurer, are you not? I realize this is sudden, but we urgently need help restocking our larders. We are in the midst of preparing a full-course meal for the soon arriving guests, but I fear we are short on fresh lamb for the main course. I would be grateful if you could procure 4 slices for us. I dare say it would be quickest to obtain these directly from the source, wild lambs. In case you are unfamiliar with the creatures, I suggest you speak with Abliflar, a sentry stationed in Bulwark Hall, just below the drowning wench. Beg your pardons, good madam, but do you have a reservation? You don't? My sincerest apologies, but you must book in advance to dine at the Bismarck. Welcome to Limsa Lominsa. Is there aught you would like to know? Feel free to... You got something for me, you say? A missing person list? I'm not sure I follow. A disturbingly long list of people who have gone missing in recent moons. Thanks for bringing the list. I'll be sure to memorize these names. If any of the missing persons reappear, you can count on me to spot them. Most folk enter the city via the Severed Drift, which means they must pass through Bulwark Hall. That's why I am on constant watch here, and undercover as to keep an eye out for suspicious activity. I've been doing this for so long, I've become a pretty good judge of character. If there's shady characters skulking about, you can rest assured I can pick them out. Hehehe. Sounds like you're already in the Yellow Jacket's good graces. So our undercover action failed. You truly are a model adventurer, a paragon among your fellows. Do you think you could do me a favor? You see, I'm supposed to go and fill up all the street lamps with oil, so that they'll stay lit through the night. But thanks to this business of missing people, I simply can't up and leave my post. If you could tend to the street lamps in my stead, I'd be eternally grateful. Oh, and when you're finished, please fetch more oil from Sisipu in the Fisherman's Guild. We're running low here, and she has care of our stores. Welcome to the heart of Limsa Lominsa, the mizzenmast. It houses the airship landing, the Adventurers Guild, and at the very top, the command room of the Admiral, from where she keeps a watchful eye over Lominsan air, land, and sea. The crow's lift will carry you up and down the tower as fast as the crow flies. You only need to speak with Grefar and tell him where you wish to go. The Bismarck wants fresh lamb, does it? Gods, I could do with a slice myself, fresh off the grill and dripping in its own juices. Sorry, friend, I haven't had a single bite to eat since my shift began. Any road, you can get lamb easy enough by hunting the lambs that graze outside the city. Go through the Sapphire Gate and follow the path east and south for a bit. You'll run into the fluffy and tasty critters before long. Beyond the great Sapphire Gate of Limsa Lominsa lie the midlands of La Noscia. The gentle wind that passes through the gate is said to be the sweet breath of the gods, carrying life and fortune. Fuel used to light the street lamps of Limsa Lominsa. It reeks of fish. Did it actually used to be a thing, using fish oil to keep the lights in a city burning? That would indeed smell, I can imagine. Have you had any luck obtaining the fresh lamb? Please hurry, the guests are arriving any moment now. Lamb meat so fresh it still smells of the mother's teat. 4 slices of fresh lamb, and right in the nick of time. Thank you ever so much. 'Tis times like these I feel fulfilled in my role. I used to be a chef myself, you see, but my skills weren't quite up to par, so when the Bismarck expanded operations, I asked to be made a professional instead. This way I can still be part of the business in spite of my shortcomings. I'm not sure if she was in 1.0, but I do think that these characters were featured quite prominently in the 1.0 cooking questline. Not 100% sure, it's been a while since I watched any 1.0 content. But I thought it was neat to tell you. Too bad they aren't NPCs now, they were pretty funny. I mean, 1.0 was bad in terms of gameplay, or at least I've been told that. But in terms of world building, it was quite good. I mean, that's why we why we got 2.0, because they saw promise. Welcome back. It would seem our samples were rather well received, and this is in no small part due to our affable courier. 'Tis unfortunate, but notoriety accumulated over the course of years does not fade overnight. There are many still who are hesitant to do business with savage pirates. Yet the old days of piracy have passed, giving way to a new wave of opportunity. My crew and I have decided to embrace this wave. With the Admiral's blessing, we engage in a form of trade with Garlean ships. Everything we do, you may rest assured, is within the law.